I love that there is a debate between one of my favorite counter-apologists and one of the world's derpiest apologists. This time, Bart Ehrman and Dinesh D'Souza debate the problem of evil. Ehrman anticipates the explanation that a lot of apologists give, that evil is the result of human free will. We shouldn't complain about evil and suffering because the only way they wouldn't exist is if humans were robots with no free will.
I came to realize that there are problems with this robot explanation. For one thing, it's an incomplete explanation that doesn't solve the problem of why they're suffering. You all will remember a tsunami that killed 300,000 people. Whose free will caused that?
How are natural disasters caused by free will? The robot argument doesn't address this.
Most people I know who think that, who have the explanation that it's all because of free will, most people I know who advance that idea are themselves Christians. These are people who believe that when they die, they're going to go to heaven. They also believe that there will be no suffering in heaven. And so one might ask, will there be free will in heaven? If there's free will in heaven, but no suffering in heaven, that must mean that it is possible to have a world with free will, but without suffering. So why don't we have a world with free will without suffering? Well, it obviously wasn't set up that way, but it means that the free will explanation doesn't really explain the problem.
If we have free will in heaven, then free will does not mean that suffering and evil are inevitable. However, Alvin Plantinga has hypothesized that maybe there is no free will in heaven. Those who say that it is good that we have free will because otherwise we would be robots, imply that it is for some reason not desirable to be a robot. So if there's no free will in heaven, then either being a robot isn't really that bad, or being in heaven isn't really that great.
So the first problem we have, I think, as not just Christians, but as thinking people is, what position are we in to judge the architecture of the universe?
I hear this shit from apologists all the time. I call this the Jenny Jones defense. Because if Yahweh were to defend himself with this argument, it would be like he's saying, "You don't know me." You don't know Yahweh, you can all kiss my ass. This argument is a cop-out. It's an argument against even trying to think critically about the things we are told about Yahweh. It boils down to saying, if anything about Yahweh seems immoral to you, if anything makes you skeptical about the claim that he is omnibenevolent, just assume that it's because you're stupid rather than expecting a rational explanation. This is a dodge. It's an evasion.
And so here we are, human beings. We are part of the universe. And we are second-guessing the blueprint of the entire universe. So my first question is, are we really in full possession of adequate facts to be able to say, we think God could have done better?
D'Souza seems to believe that, in fact, a God could not have done better. His God is supposedly omnipotent. If he's omnipotent, it's a contradiction to say that he couldn't have done better than create such an imperfect universe.